kind of in the notion of signature wins as far as what they can
No.
do for recruiting? Or
No.
why not?
1-0.
1-0.
Every win, every week is important. Every win is important. Don't approach it anything different. Fans, media, they talk about those things. We don't.
How important is it you know these guys? This is your third game against them in 4 years, staff versus staff.
Yeah, I think we got some perspective, not only on them, also the environment there. It's something we talked about all week long, being prepared for the environment. Talked to a couple coaches this week. That's something I think is an advantage for them, the environment there, so we got to be ready for that. I do think the point you're making about that we've played against each other a couple times now is helpful. They got a veteran staff that's been at Northwestern for a long time. They've kind of figured out what they need to do to be successful there. So yeah, I think there's some familiarity. I actually worked with Bob Hefner, for a while. I've known him for a long time. Actually, we worked together at the University of Maryland. Actually, Fitzy was a GA there right before I came there. So there's some familiarity with both staffs.
Has it been helpful having Trace and Tommy run some of those zone read plays and kind of picking up the pace instead of the scout team?
Yeah, I think so. I think whenever you can, replicate the speed in practice and not hold a card up and allow those guys to call our plays and our system, same plays that they're going to see, on Saturday or we've seen in past weeks, it's helpful. It's much better than O-line. Third team O-lineman trying to look at a card and try to block it that way. It doesn't work that way. When you can make your calls, your double teams, and get the speed and use our terminology, I think it's much more beneficial. So I thought we had a good week. We had a good day yesterday doing it.
How much did Trace do that? I'm sorry. How much did Trace do that? And was that the first time this year that he has done that for you?
For our defense?
Yeah.
Yeah, this week. We were going to do it the week before, but like I think I mentioned to you guys, we were going to do it the week before, but then it didn't make sense. It made sense for our program long term, but it really didn't make sense against Illinois based on their quarterback, so we bumped it for a week. But we'll do that from here on out.
James, you're only 2 games this season where the defense allowed more than 400 yards was against dual threat QBs. Is that just an anomaly, or is it inherently more difficult, to go up against a dual threat quarterback?
No, I think if you look across the country, most people have more difficult times defending quarterbacks that can hurt you in multiple ways. No different than if you're one-dimensional on offense, just throwing the ball or just running the ball. It makes it easy to defend. If you are multiple on offense and you can run the ball and throw the ball, it makes it difficult to defend. And then if you have a quarterback that can do both, it can be frustrating. You drop back, you're in great coverage, you got everybody covered, you don't box the quarterback up correctly, cage him, and then all of a sudden he breaks off. So, it's a challenge, I think, for a lot of people, including us.
Sorry, Coach, to clarify, the decision to not utilize Trace and Tommy in that manner in preparing for Ohio State and Maryland was because Illinois was kind of right in the middle before Northwestern? Or can you
No, it just came down, are we going to shift that time away from the offense? Like in high school, a lot of days you have an offensive practice and a defensive practice. Well, when we do that, we're taking a 10-minute period and giving it all to the defense. Basically, are you going to take 10 minutes away from your offense to give to your defense? And we just didn't feel like, that was the right time to do that.
You wanted to get Trace in a game all along on Saturday. You kind of got an extended look at it. When you had a chance to go back and watch the film, were there any certain takeaways you had from that or things?
Well, one of the things I thought was helpful is when we wanted to make that change, I told the offense that I wanted to keep as many of the starting offensive players in that we possibly could to give Trace an opportunity to work with those guys. We made some changes, but to put him in there with the whole 2 unit, I didn't think was a great way to evaluate him. So I thought that was helpful. I thought he did some good things. He obviously was able to make some plays with his feet. We were also trying to kind of run the clock out as well, so it's not like we're going to be throwing the ball all over the place. But I did think it was valuable getting him in there at that point with those types of players around him.
You guys have played on fast tracks, turf tracks too, the past 3 weeks, and Northwestern kind of keeps their grass pretty long. Is there an adjustment there at all, speed-wise, or is it not?
No, I mean, I remember at a previous institution I was at, somebody said, about growing the grass long, to slow other people down. You're playing on the same surface. If it has any effect, it's going to have the same effect on you. So I never really kind of understood that. It didn't make sense to me. maybe someone can explain it to me, but I don't understand how it's going to slow one team down more than the other.
What have you seen from Julius Davis this week, and are you any closer to splitting up those stories when one guy kicks off and is the scoring?
No. At this point, we tried to do that last week. It didn't show up in practice. The funny thing is Tyler got in the game and actually kicked it in terms of kickoff better than he had in practice all week long. But we haven't made any decisions yet.
With using trace and kind of that replicating the dual threat at a higher speed, what maybe part of the defense, is there a particular unit that can benefit from that the most, whether it's the line, the linebackers, or the secondary?
No, when you're playing that type of defense, it's no different than defending the option in a lot of ways, where everybody has to do their job. The defensive end squeezing down. They're usually trying to put people in conflict. So they're trying to put the defensive ends in conflict, and they're reading the defensive end. You're putting the linebackers in conflict because now they have to be able to stop the inside zone. But now they got the tight end arcing or a wing arcing. So if the quarterback pulls it, and now you've stopped the inside zone, now they have leverage on their blocks on you to get to the edge. So it's everybody. Now the receiver comes in and cracks the safety, the corner needs to crack replace, all those things. So it really is a benefit for everybody, and it forces everybody to be accountable to their gaps or their responsibilities. So that's what makes it challenging. And then the other thing is then you overcommit to those things, and then they chuck the ball down the field. Excuse me.
No. Would you agree that conveys a level of confidence in your offense now that you are feeling comfortable enough to take away one of your offensive periods and kind of hand that to the defense, as you said earlier?
No, I mean, we still got a long ways to go. We're doing some better things on offense. I think I told you guys the stat about us, in terms of plays of 30 yards or more, we're number 2 in the country, I think, behind Baylor. So we've made some progress. We're doing some nice things, but we still got a long ways to go. But that's just something I think is really, really important for our team as a whole and for our defense. For us to win the type of games that we want to win, we're going to have to stop those styles. And just like you guys have seen across the country as well as here at Penn State, that can give us some problems. So I just felt like it's the right thing to do. The other thing is we do some skellies. We do full speed skelly offense versus defense. And I asked the defense to play more man coverage than they typically would, because that's going to help the offense, forcing our offense to be able to get off versus man coverage, press coverage, and the offense taking shots down the field and have to make those, what most people would consider low percentage throws, try to hit them at a higher percentage. So I'm asking the defense to kind of give up some things as well in practice.
As you look at James Franklin, early kicks, 11 and 12, November games, those are both within your wheelhouse. Any reason for either of those?
Some of the stuff, the numbers and the research that you get.
I'm trying to figure out who you are, James.
I love it.
Am I right, though?
Yeah, to be honest with you, my record in general, I don't really kind of know that. Like at the quarterback club today, I got asked a question about that, my record compared to other people's. My record at 11 o'clock games compared to 12 o'clock games compared to night games. I don't really know.
What are the challenges of an early kick and a game later in the season?
Well, I think it's a couple things. I think going into their environment, it's a different environment than a lot of the Big Ten venues that we go to. That's gonna cause an issue for you. Playing early in the morning, it's an hour earlier than we normally play, so the game is going to come fast. And what you have to be careful of, a lot of times when you're playing on the road in this type of environment and you're playing at that time in the day, if you look, a lot of people have opened up slow. They've sleepwalked through the first quarter. So talking to our guys about that and being prepared and being ready. I remember one year at a previous institution, we played Cal at our place at 12 o'clock, which was like 9 o'clock their time in the morning. We got after them pretty good. The next year, we went to Cal, and it was a night game. I think it was at 8 o'clock. Didn't work out so well for us. So, there's challenges that come with that. Obviously, traveling across the country magnifies it, but either way, making sure that your guys' clock, their body clock goes off at the right time and they're ready to play. So we adjust the schedule. We're actually on Friday, we're going to bump all of our meetings and everything up an hour earlier. The problem, as you guys know, with young people, they're probably still not going to go to bed at 8:45 like we'd like them to. But that's what we're trying to do, give as much time as we possibly can to go to bed.
What makes their atmosphere different? Northwestern.
Yeah, you're not getting me on camera. Yeah, you guys, I love this when you guys do this stuff. I've already stated what I've said. It's a different environment than a lot of schools in the Big Ten. It's a great environment. It's a great college environment. Great college house. The wives trip to go to Chicago should be awesome.
How has this season gone for Juwan Johnson? He's a guy who seems like he's redshirted, but looks like he's playing with the regulars.
He's doing good. You know, he's rotated. He's up with the varsity most of the time. He rotates back and forth. Him and Irving are really exciting. They're both basically 6'4". I think they're 6'3", They're 230 pounds, both of them right now. Run extremely well. Right now, they're inconsistent in some ways where they make a huge play in practice, and then they're inconsistent and drop some balls that we think they should make. So they're both two big physical guys that are good guys that are working really hard, but they need to be more consistent like a lot of young players.
Hey Coach, we've watched the offense become more consistent and comfortable. Who or what can you credit that consistency to?
Everybody. Staff, the players, the fans, the media. Everybody's had a part in our offense being more consistent.
Do you see the players being more confident though? That confidence kind of building over time, and what can you tell me about that?
Yeah, I think the offense is gaining confidence. I think the team is gaining confidence. We've had success the last couple of weeks. I think the media is gaining confidence and covering us. Everybody.